to a new episode of Geeky Things.
I'm Rachel.
My name is Doug, and this is our special review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
It has no spoilers, so for those of you, which is most of you, who have not seen this, go ahead and watch through the rest of this video and see if you want to watch it or not. I would totally recommend it. It is an amazing, mind-boggling movie, and I loved it.
It was really a lot of fun. It was a good journey. You know, the first one, really, these were new characters in the first one, and people had never heard of these people before, really. It wasn't as well known as, Iron Man or Thor or anything.
Captain America or anything. It was...
And so they were able to really kind of recreate a lot of what worked, I think, well in the first movie, and kind of move it forward. What did you like about the movie?
The music, of course, was amazing.
The music was great. The music was fantastic.
I was looking forward to that one.
I really thought the movie worked for a number of different reasons because I think one of the things that's happening in these Marvel movies is every single one of them is escalating and it's getting bigger and bigger. And I read an article recently about how, I think Kevin Feige was talking about, he's the guy who sort of produces this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, is after the Infinity War movie coming out next summer, they're really going to have to change gears because they're going to spend all this money on this big, giant movie. And where do they go from there, right? And I think the answer is that you've got to have more stories that are sort of character-driven and not just, all the character development is just sort of something you do in between big fights and things blowing up. And I kind of felt like this movie was sort of a step in that direction, right? Because every single character had their own kind of moment in the spotlight. And sometimes it was a little bit forced, but, Peter really has like a whole arc that's really important. And him sort of pursuing his own personal questions about who he is and why that matters drives the story forward and puts him into contact with people that they end up fighting with. But it's not quite like all the other movies where there's just like
it's
a big
different.
bad guy kind of coming after it.
It was different because they had several different antagonists, and sometimes you're like, wait, is this bad guy or good guy?
You really don't know.
It's very different. It gives a different vibe.
Well, and that was one of the things that I wanted to mention. I think part of the reason you just don't know, and this isn't a secret because you can see it on the trailer and the movie posters, is that there are a couple characters who were in the first Guardians of the Galaxy that were kind of antagonists. Yondu and Nebula, especially. They were kind of bad guys.
In the
first
trailer,
movie.
they're like, they see them working side by side, and you're confused.
Like, what's that all about?
And that's cleared up in the movie.
And I think it was. The thing is that it was cleared up really well. When I saw that at first, I was like, oh, is this going to be one of those hokey things where it's like, we're enemies, but now we're friends? It felt very earned to me. It felt like it was a legitimate, we kind of worked through this, we had our big drag out, they explained motivations in such a way so that the first movie doesn't become like, oh, I was your friend and I just forgot. It all felt very organic and real, and it was well done.
It wasn't the whole enemy of the enemy is your friend thing. There was actually relationships and not just, we're both fighting this guy, may as well work together and sail the same ship.
That's a real cop-out, too. And it kind of starts off that way at some point, but then it was, I don't know, I was really pleased with the way it worked. So.
Oh, by the way, there are like 4 little clips at the end.
There are 5 clips at the end of this movie. You've got to stick around until the very, very end. Just a couple other things that I really enjoyed about the movie. Baby Groot... Baby Groot kind of is so great. I was just like, oh, this is going to be... but it was so good. And then also...
The movie's like super sad or it's like super serious and you see Baby Groot and you're just like... Ah.
Yeah, it's crazy cute. And then Drax, I think, really...
Oh my god.
He had like a handful of like really cool moments in the first one. And they really like drilled into that whole part of his personality where he was...
He's developed so much from the first movie.
He's just this great belly laugh, but also kind of tortured, and all the literalism stuff just continues to sort of play out really well. So I thought that was a lot of fun. It was good. And there's a couple short cameos that are just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that. That's fantastic. One of them especially, it was really good. So.
I was really happy with the movie.
Yeah.
There was one critique that I have, but I can't address it without going into spoilers. But I'm hoping to do a review with spoilers so we can actually talk about this amazing movie. But we're going to release it in a couple weeks when you guys have the chance to watch it. So.
Yeah. I think the one problem I have is in the climax, sometimes things happen and you're like, even just like a reasonably intelligent person would have done something a little bit differently at that
Yeah.
point. And so it led to some decisions and some things happening that while I think it kind of made the story kind of hang together, in the heat of the moment, I'm like, yeah, we're really kind of just bending over backwards to get to that point. And
Yeah.
there's a little bit of like, I wasn't totally satisfied with just some of the way the action stuff unfolds at the end. It seems like some dumb decisions were made by the characters that were just not really honest or intelligent or necessarily even keeping with their character in some ways too. So
There were some points where it's like, that seems really out of character.
why would you
What's
do
going
that?
on? What's
Yeah.
going on here?
So and every now and then you got to bend over backwards a little bit. It just seems like they were really bending over backwards.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think it's kind of forgivable
It's a-
because it all kind of fits together in the story, and it was just all really just a totally enjoyable movie. And that's probably one of the other things I liked about it is that it still doesn't take itself too seriously. The use of humor throughout.
It was insane how much jokes they crammed in there. It was great.
Every now and then it was really kind of jarring, but it was just, I just want to be able to go to those movies and just really be entertained. And I felt very, very entertained during that movie. I think that's one of the things that DC movies is kind of not really hitting the mark on.
The DC movies are going down. I don't know. What's
I don't
going
know.
on.
We'll see. We got to go see Wonder Woman here soon.
I'm excited
so.
for Wonder Woman. The trailer looks good, but Batman vs Superman looked good, and I was kind of disappointed about that.
I don't know. I'm still really sour about that.
Ugh. Anyway,
So what would you give? What's your review? What do you give it?
I give it 9 planets.
9 planets?
9 planets.
I would give it a 7 out of 10 Zunes by Microsoft. If you can find one of those.
Reference in the end of the movie. It's great.
It's pretty good. Although maybe we just ruined it. Did we just ruin it?
No.
No. All right, cool. So that's it. If you guys have any, please like or comment or share.
Subscribe.
If you're on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, like our page. We're posting all sorts of fun stuff and movie trailers, and we would really love to hear from you. What did you think of Guardians of the Galaxy? There's a lot of cool movies coming out this summer. We got Spider-Man and
Yes,
Thor
I'm
both coming
excited for
out.
Spider-Man.
It's going to be awesome. If you're watching us on Facebook, please be sure to like our page and comment and share. If you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe and get some alerts so that you can watch the next video coming out. We'd love to hear from you, and we got some more. We got several cool reviews coming out next week. We're doing
Unbreakable, and the week after that we're doing Split, and so look forward to that. And
big fun stuff.
we will see you next week.
Thank you. Stay geeky.
Bye bye.